Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the June meeting of the Benton County Republican Women. We have a lighter group today. There were some other political meetings going on. There were some of our regulars usually attend. And so we're missing them today, but the good news is that we videotape these meetings so that you have a chance to share them with people who weren't here. That you want to tell about what we do and get them excited about coming and being in the room and hanging out with some really cool Republican Party supporters. So I'd like to open this meeting with a prayer. Vicki Bozeman.
Father, thank you for this really gorgeous summer day. We're so blessed to live in this part of our country in so many ways. Lord, this weather is just encouraging and invigorating, and we thank you for it. We thank you, Lord, for our country. God, we're in lots of little messes right now. I mean, just several pop off the top of my head. Benghazi still going on. The IRS losing their emails. War in Iraq, and maybe aligning with Iran. And, I mean, so many others. Those are just the main ones. At the top of the news, not to mention the culture war that we're in. And God, I thank you for our party platform and what we stand for. Thank you that we stand for our Constitution. And we stand for you. And we stand for family. God, I thank you for the leaders of this organization, the time and effort and sacrifice they make. Lord, there's so much behind the scenes that's not even known, and time and effort, and I thank you for the ladies that come forth to do this. Thank you for our visitors today. Thank you, Lord, that you just give us so many blessings. We have such liberties, even as we see them being stripped from us. We're still, Lord, the most free country in this world. We pray your hand upon us. Father, we pray you'll speak to the leaders of our country regarding the many decisions. God, give them wisdom. Lord, I don't know who they're praying to. I don't know if they're praying to you. I don't know if they're praying. I don't know if they're praying to Muhammad or Buddha or whatever. But God, I know you say in your word that when your people pray, Lord, that you move and you act. And I pray that there are people all over this nation crying out to you, Father, for our nation and the saving of our nation. God, thank you for the speakers who have come. Please speak through them and help us to learn what they have to share with us. Thank you for each individual here. Thank you for this food. God bless it to our bodies, to energize us for whatever you have for us to do the rest of this day. And help us in every deed and word and thought to bring glory to you, Father. For it's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, it's so good to see you. How many of you are members here today? Good number. We have some that have not yet joined. You're future members. We have some that are associate members. I would think that our men in the room are probably associate members. Under our charter, men can become associate members, but not regular members. And the nice thing about the associate membership is it is pure cash to the club so that we can do things to work with our candidates and support our organization and do things in our community to educate people about being Republican. Because that's what we want. We have so many politically agnostic people out there. This is such a great opportunity for us to talk about what the Republican Party believes in. I have a sign-in sheet. Does anybody else put forward with a sign-in sheet? Vicki, if you would pass that around for me. Please sign in. We'll keep in touch by email. Also lets us know whether you're a member or non-member for in case we need to conduct any business that requires a vote to establish a quorum. Vicki, I'm sorry, Jeanette, thank you. Looking right at you. Y'all ever have one of those moments when you're standing in front of a group? There you go. Jeanette, would you come up here and talk to us about membership for just a moment? Well, Jeanette, this is Jeanette Yannicek, and she and her husband own a builder, construction company, and she is also our member chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Membership chairman, short member chair. But I would just encourage any of you here, men, women, that are not members, to please join our club. We really need your support. It's an election year. As Vicki stated, this country is in a mess of affairs, and we really need everyone to kind of group together. And so our membership, general membership, is $25 for women, or associate membership is $15. And we have membership applications over here. I'll be glad to pass some of those out, or you can pick one up on your way out. We definitely need, the fight is on, okay? So, and any of you who haven't renewed for 2014, please do so today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeanette. Pass those, a couple of those back in case anybody's interested. And another thing I am going to pass around is our information about our chili supper. It's time to volunteer. I'm calling it a chili supper. That's what we did last time. It was a great little fundraiser that we held right before the Benton County Republican Party meeting. And so we're going to do one again in July. This time it is a nacho dinner. It's a Hispanic food theme. We're working on something special with the program. Hopefully we can pull that all together as well. So I would love to have some volunteers if you can commit. If you don't think you're going to be there, just want to donate some money, we have to buy some things for it, for desserts. You can put some money in here and we will use that toward those funds as well. So lots of great ways to get involved. You can bring food. There is a sign-up sheet on the front and back here on things that we might need for the dinner as well. So we'd love to have you come. It'll be early. We'll start at 5:30. So it was such a great chance last time to see everybody sit and visit. A lot of times they rush into the meeting and rush out. Just a great chance to really fellowship with people that you may not get a chance to otherwise. So I'm going to pass that back this way, and you'll just make sure that keeps moving throughout the meeting. Well, congratulations to all of our candidates who won their races, and especially for those candidates that ran in opposed races. They are not finished. And for our candidates that didn't win their race, man, thank you for staying involved and just coming back to the meetings, because this is so important with all the experience that you gain in the primary and running. You can apply that to the other candidates who really, really need your help. And this is such an important time. Somebody told me that 10 or 11% of our voters in Benton County turned out for the election.
It was District 3.
District 3.
The whole district.
Which is, what does District 3 encompass?
How large is it?
Yeah, where is, what?
It's like
Down
1/4.
It's Benton.
Like 1/4 of this.
Benton, Boone, Carroll, Crawford, Sebastian, Washington,
Johnson's not anymore. So kind of that northwest corner down to, like down to Fort Smith and what is Harrison?
It kind of goes like this.
Okay.
Roughly 1/4 of the state.
So I'm wondering what that's going to translate to for the general election. So since a lot of our especially up in this area, we're so heavily Republican, what that is going to mean for voters, because a lot of them, their friends and connections and stuff, their race is already over for the year, so they've already won. So last month we we chose where we wanted to donate our money for, that we had budgeted for. Now, we are not a PAC, so we can only spend up to $500. And so I am announcing now where we are spending most of that money. We still have a little bit we'll have to spend. We're donating $100 to Asa Hutchinson's campaign, $95 to Leslie Rutledge, $95 to Andrea Lee, and $100 to Rebecca Petty. And we made that decision based on state offices and opposed, people who are running opposed. So those people need our help, and I tell you, Rebecca Petty is in a very, very tough race here. She really needs our help. And I would tell you that Grant Hodges is as well, but when you look at who Rebecca is running against, a 30-year Rogers school teacher, high school level, well-loved. I know that translates to a lot of votes. So especially for those people that really don't have a political party affiliation. So it's time to get out and talk to those folks. So we'll be writing checks today for those folks. If you would like to add some money of your own to help those folks, we'll be glad to include that with our check as well. So think about that. I brought my ASA envelope. I'm sure we have the addresses for everyone else.
There's more on the table.
Is there? So there's plenty. If you can't donate today, really consider donating to our candidates. The June 30th is the end of the quarter, and I understand that that's important that they show good numbers on their fundraising totals. So there were some openings for the delegates for the state convention that were left last night, and alternates. I don't know if any of you have, of course, most everybody I see in the room today, with the exception of just a few, were at the meeting, the county convention meeting last night. But if you know somebody who is a member of the Republican Party in Benton County, and they would like to be a delegate to the state convention, who can they see?
John Carr.
John Carr.
If you're a registered voter, they don't have to be a member of the committee.
So they just have to be a registered voter to be a delegate.
Right.
What's the commitment for that?
The July 19th state convention.
Okay, so just that one day. And I didn't notice how many places they had left to fill. So they still need how many? 9. So they still need 9 people. So definitely, that's a great experience, a one-day commitment. I recommend it. So please consider that. You can reach out to John Carr, but I have the top 3 officers for the Benton County Republican Party right here in this room. So I say top 3 beside John. John is our party chairman. So if you are interested in that, please reach out to them. There's something I'm forgetting. Man, I hate it when I do that, especially on video. Now everybody's going to know that watches. Hey, we have some guests in the room, some folks that maybe are here for the first time or candidates. Please stand and tell us your name.
Hello, I'm Cindy Avery. I am from Bentonville originally and just moved back last month after being gone 35 years. I'm a former state representative from Colorado. And looking forward to getting involved in helping out our candidates here in Arkansas.
Good.
Very good. Other candidates, got Carlos Chicas in the back.
Carlos Chicas now be running against Kerry in November.
But bless him for coming anyway. It's important that he's in the room. Other candidates. Oh, that's right, Sue.
I'm Sue Shablow, and I'm JP-elect for District 2.
Very good. Running unopposed for this fall. So.
I'm Stephanie Orman, and I'm running for Bentonville City Council, Board 1 position.
Very good.
Now that we are at it, I'll also be running for city council in Bentonville.
Very good. And Stephanie is first vice president of the evening women's club, and it's Republican Women of Bentonville. And we get together and put on a big shindig in December where everybody gets together and just enjoys the holidays for just a little bit, where we have a little break between campaigning and political stuff. Just to really just spend time together. Did I miss anybody? Okay. No? Oh, but you were a guest.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, it's my first time for the women, but I came last night, so.
That's okay,
Well,
this is
that's a
different.
different one.
Lisa Richards.
And that's a different.
Well, Lisa, we're glad you're here. And Cindy, thank you for coming. Melanie.
You
And-
see me?
Melanie, welcome home. How long are you here from India?
Till the end of July.
Very good. I catch myself many times in this role asking myself, what would Melanie do? She did such a phenomenal job with programs last year for this organization. And were you programs chair the year before as well? Just did a stellar job, so I was always so impressed. So, alrighty, on with our program. We have, if you got the email yesterday, you know, we have a girl power kind of program today. We have Jonelle Fulmer, the Republican National Committee, National Committeewoman. There you go. And then we also have Katie Martinez, who is the field director for the Northwest Arkansas Victory Campaign Office. So if you haven't been down there to Springdale to see their office, you should go down and check it out. But Jonelle is going to speak to us first. While she's coming up here, let me go ahead and introduce her. Jonelle lives in Fort Smith. She is a volunteer in this role. It's a 4-year term. They can be reelected one more time. And she has served, she's ratified in August of 2012. She has worked with Asa Hutchinson on his PAC and previous campaigns. She's been president of the Sebastian County Republican Women, secretary of the state party, and she is currently secretary of the county committee. She has a Chinese pug named Smeagol and 2 grown boys who served in the military, one now serving private military and one still active military, and 2 grandsons. She's born and raised in Little Rock and just celebrated her 35-year reunion from Little Rock Central High. Please welcome Jonelle.
I'm so honored that you all would have me here. I am not what you would call a great public speaker, but I'm always honored when I'm asked, and I appreciate so much all of you who are here on the ground working and in the trenches and doing what has to be done to get our candidates elected. I thank you so much. Thank you for being here today. I always like to repeat the quote, you can always pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. So y'all are showing up, you're out there working, I appreciate it, and I'm so grateful to you. I hope you'll excuse me today. I do have a little bit of a cold, so if I get doing this, please forgive me. Donna asked me to talk to you today about what is wrong with the Democrat agenda. It would be easier to tell you what's not wrong with the Democrat agenda.
You only have 1 hour.
I don't have, you're right, I don't have that much time. But it'll be more fun to talk about what is wrong with it. So I guess we can sum it up by Obama's own words when he said that their agenda is to fundamentally change America. And I reject the premise that America needs to be fundamentally changed. I think you all would agree with me that America was founded on principles that are sound, they're scriptural, they are principles that we need to be not only striving to meet, but determined. We need to be determined to fight to keep them. And so I reject their premise. But that said, that is their agenda. And the way they seek to do that is to adopt the socialist agenda, which is what we're seeing today. That agenda includes, as you all know, the redistribution of wealth, big government, federal government, less state government and more federal government, and little or no individual responsibility, to name a few. So what is the redistribution of wealth? Well, we're seeing it right now, as you know, in what is called the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare. And their desire is to take from the working class and give to a class of individuals who do not want to work. Now, we all know that there are people who can't work, and we have systems in place to take care of those people. That is not an issue. But they want to and have created a new class of entitlements, of people who believe that they are entitled not to work because they don't want to. You even see it in the unemployment, how they increase unemployment benefits so that people feel like they're better off not to look for work than to go look for work. So that's how we're seeing it right now. And as Margaret Thatcher said, the problem with socialism is you eventually run out of other people's money. You all know, you've probably heard the statistics that the higher the tax burden, the lower the tax revenue, because people are disincentivized. They don't have any incentive to work if everything they're striving to achieve is taken from them and given to someone who won't work. So, but then the Affordable Care Act, I think right now, is the poster child for socialism and how badly it impacts all Americans. Small businesses can't survive, the mandates and the taxation that's put upon them, and it's why unemployment is consistently at record highs under this administration. And it doesn't matter how much they fudge the numbers, they can't change that. And then as far as big government, of course, Obamacare is another prime example of how they want the states to bear this burden that they've mandated. The Constitution, as you know, provides that every power that is not specifically given to the federal government lies with the states. But the Obama administration and our Democrat Party right now doesn't seem to care. They're not only unraveling our Constitution and trying to change it, they just ignore it and they bypass it and they do whatever they want to do. I don't know if any of you receive newsletters from Minutemen, but I do get those occasionally. I got one, it's been several months ago. Some of you might know more about this than I do, but I did hear that the Obama administration had taken a case before the Supreme Court asking that all the rights, all the authorities given to the states, that the states have abdicated to the federal government, now be reassigned to the federal government. So in cases where the states have allowed the government to come in and start creating policies or taking away some of our states' powers, the federal government now has asked the Supreme Court just to go ahead and let us control that from now on. So that's another way that they have are specifically trying to increase the size of government and reduce the rights of the states.
At what stage is that suit?
I have not heard. I believe it was last year that they took it before the Supreme Court, and I've not heard another thing about it. But I would, if any of you hear anything, I would love some more information on that. Another prime example is Common Core, how they have the federal government is handing down standards that they think should be implemented in all states and all communities. And I think that we all agree, most of us agree, that that is within not only the right and the power of the states and the communities, but I think just common sense dictates that we know better what our children need in our communities and in our states than the national government does. Vicki, very eloquently in her prayer, listed some of the ways that they are taking away our liberties and our freedoms, whether it's the IRS scandal, where your freedom of speech is being infringed, or whether it is the NSA scandal, where your privacy is being invaded. We're seeing it all across the spectrum with this administration and with the Democrat Party that refuses to, stand up for us. So, one power that is specifically granted to the federal government is the power of national defense. And what about that? How are they doing with that? Well, apparently their policies are that for political expediency, we lead wars that our military advisors tell us we are not done. We're not done. We're not safe yet. We were pulled out of Iraq before that country was secure. Military advisors told Obama, it's not time to leave yet. It is not safe yet. The job is not done. And he pulled them out because it was expedient. And now we see just in the last couple of weeks that the insurgents there are rising up again and they're taking over. And they're asking for our help again. We now negotiate with terrorists. We release back into the Middle East terrorists who are the most dangerous so that they can plot against us once again. And all of that while leaving Americans to be killed in Benghazi, while at the same time reducing our troop levels so that if the time comes, we might not be able to defend ourselves from within, much less help anyone else who needs us. Our borders are porous, and our Border Patrol is given very little authority and little to no support from the government. Obama and the Democrats apologize for American exceptionalism and draw lines in the sand that others are allowed to cross without repercussion. America is weaker and more vulnerable than ever before. We're a laughingstock around the world. Our great nation is on the cusp of bankruptcy, and each day we lose more and more of our freedoms and liberties. The very fabric of our nation, our Constitution, is being picked at and raveled by the Democrat Party as they fundamentally change our nation from a constitution to a constitutional republic to a socialist nation. And to sum it up, I would like to just read this quote from Norman Mattoon Thomas, who was a leading American socialist, pacifist, and a 6-time presidential candidate for the Socialist Party of America. And he once said, "The American people will never knowingly adopt socialism, but under the name of liberalism, they will adopt every fragment of the socialist program until one day America will be a socialist nation without knowing how it happened." And he went on to say, I no longer need to run as a presidential candidate for the Socialist Party. The Democrat Party has adopted our platforms. So there you have it. And so my last thought to you would just be, what is not wrong with the Democrat agenda? And thank you so much.
What is the Victory Campaign doing to streamline our messaging? I mean, the Democrats are masters. In fact, this morning on the Today Show, they were talking about Common Core and how great it was for America, and it was left in the hands of the local school districts, which is not true. So they make it sound like that this is something that the people want, it's close to the people, and they almost go on the edge of embracing conservative values without actually going there. And so they have a good way of selling these ideas. So what are we doing as a party to message the facts, to make sure that all of our local organizations are taking these same talking points and making sure people understand the truth about these issues?
Well, I'm actually going to let Katie talk about what the Victory Committee is doing. That is her, that's what she's talking about today. The National Committee has taken a stand against Common Core, which has been, a resolution was presented and adopted, and it has been sent to all of our federal representatives and senators, all of the Republicans, of course. So the party itself has taken that stand. As far as implementation in the states, I'm going to leave all of the victory work to Katie, but that is a really good question. It is, and as you know, some of the states have actually opted out of it. Oklahoma just did. I'm so proud of Mary Fallon because she had to backtrack. She had supported it originally, and she had to backtrack to sign that legislation.
Well, I'm so heartened by what you have to say, and Joelle last night also presented a good message. But our mainline Republicans in D.C. And the heads of the Republican Party nationally don't carry that message unless it's election time and something. Reince Priebus was so much wanting to be touted as pro-life. Well, they massacre people who come across as pro-life in the Republican Party. What can we do? What are your plans? Because you don't sound like the National Republican Party. I know there are, not everyone is liberal, left-wing, but the picture that's being presented by the National Party isn't good.
It bothers me to hear that because I've seen the platform. I'm there with them. I talk to these people. They have a conservative caucus that meets, and it's almost the full committee that has joined the conservative caucus. Most of, and there are a few who have some more liberal social leanings on the committee, but for the most part, the committee itself is a very, very conservative body, at least as it stands right now. So it's really, and I've heard Reince. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the platform to speak at CNN or MSNBC or some of the more liberal agendas where he can be heard by other people rather than the choir. It seems like he's always singing to the choir because he gets to be on Fox News. But he is out there and he is promoting a very, very conservative agenda. We can't make the legislators fall into line and do what we tell them to do. We can't make them follow the platform, just like we can't make our state legislators follow our state platform, even though we try. But the National Party is a very conservative body, and we have had, I think they get a bad rap because they're linked in for some reason with the chambers of commerce and some other bodies that tend to be a little bit more left-leaning, I guess, at times. And so I've really encouraged people to look at the national platform and to see what it is that we're promoting, because I don't think people really know. And we went to the national the Walk for Life in DC, and when we were standing having the big rally beforehand, and they had some speakers up, and somebody was introducing some of the groups that were there, and they introduced the RNC as having a group, and we all cheered, and I heard a woman next to me say, well, maybe I'll have to start donating to them again, because I think people don't believe that we're conservative, but if they find out that we are, I
the
hope it
media
changes.
are experts at getting people to think how they want.
Yes.
They want them to think instead of giving the actual, pure, unadulterated Republican side.
And like I said, Reince tries. He's out there, and he is strong. He's a great speaker, great representative, great chairman, but he doesn't get the pulpit that the rest of them get.
And I think that's what you're hitting on, or at least from somebody that's new, is we're not getting the message. We identify that the news is not fair. So that's where we go on the offensive, and we have to be out there engaging the public, and it's got to be easy to find, because when I'm looking at all the Benton County stuff, trying to learn how to get involved, I should be able to look up a website and right in my face, it is articulating the message. Instead, it's just meeting dates or get involved, and it's last year's calendar. I mean, really, there are no talking points at all. And you know, you say that they can't follow what we get in line. We could, I mean, because I kind of want to know who I'm electing. Even if they say one thing but they're not voting in line, that should be measured. I mean, you don't have to be ugly about it, but you can say that we voted like Heritage does. The Heritage has a little, you know, we wanted this, they voted this way. Because I'll call my elected representatives, the conservative ones, for instance, the EPA regulation. And I had a conversation about that. And it was just this feeling of, oh, well, I asked them to extend the commentary. If we're going to elect people to go and do something, and that's what you're asking, is for us to knock on doors and spend our time and give our money, We have to know that the person that is elected and sent to wherever, if it's Little Rock or, that they're gonna wake up every morning and fight for us and not shrug their shoulders and say, we gotta win elections before we can change it. You are in place.
Yeah, yeah.
Some representatives that are as great as we are.
Right.
Yes.
And I get, we're limited. I mean, but the talking point should, or wake up every morning, and this is my perspective, and this is what I shared with my elected representative. And I'll just share this once because the story gets around. My brother-in-law was killed in Operation Red Wing, which is the Lone Survivor movie. When he was on the helicopter, when they got that phone call, or whatever, radio, to go rescue those 4 guys on the hill, they knew it was a doomed mission, and yet they were all fighting to get on that aircraft for the chance to save the 4 on the ground. And one helicopter came back, one didn't. And I want my elected representative to wake up like that, just like our soldiers do, when they don't know that they'll come home or not. Maybe they put forth a bill that says, this is worth fighting for, but at least you start getting a record of who's letting it come to the floor and who's not. Anyway, I apologize.
That's great. I would say
But
that.
I think the message is really, it's got to be easily accessible because the news isn't going to do it.
Yes, yes, that's one thing that Katie will talk about. We've not been good so far. We have the right message. We've not been good at getting it out. And so I'll leave that to Katie. But that said, there is some truth to, we have to get Republicans elected before we can get things done, because with a majority in the House of Representatives, they can pass bills all day long, and they do, and they send them up to the Senate, and because it's not a Republican-controlled body, they don't even get them to the floor. So that's why we have got to get some people into these positions. But then you're right, we have to hold them accountable. We have to hold their feet to the fire. We have to say, this is not what you ran on. This is not what you promised us. And if you don't do what you promised us, we will replace you. And that's what they've done with Eric Cantor. They didn't like what he's been doing, and they held him accountable. So that's what we have to do. But for now, we've got to get our message out. We've got to get Republicans elected.
But we just keep electing them. We don't do anything about it, even though we know
And you
they're
have
not
to.
voting
You
right.
have to. You have to. They're here for us. They're here to serve us, and we have to hold them accountable.
The message about getting the talking points out, so it sounds like you're sending that stuff to the elected officials, but you are not sending it to us, the worker bees.
It's not talking
The
points.
National Women's Convention, Republican Convention, and this exact conversation happened in one of those meetings. So I would tell you to go back and tell whoever's getting those talking points out to your elected, they need to be getting out to us.
Well, we don't send talking points to them. We give them the platform, and we say, this is where we stand. We would like you to follow these principles. And then we send them our resolutions that we pass. Whether it's a resolution against Common Core or supporting the military or, whatever it is, they get every resolution.
Do those resolutions have, here's why?
They say, it'll be Common Core, whereas Common Core fundamentally, whether it takes the choice from parents and states or whatever, however they word it, and then therefore we resolve. So it's like that. It's not really a talking point, but it very well may have some information. I'm happy to send you some of the resolutions that we pass if that helps you at all. Some of them may not be of benefit to you up here, but
Well, it gives more communication.
you might. But I'm happy to do that.
About what's going
Absolutely.
on.
All righty.
Thank you, Jonathan. All right, next on our program is Ms. Katie Martinez. Katie is from New Jersey. She has a bachelor's in history and secondary education from the College of New Jersey. She did an internship after graduation with the New Jersey GOP. And after Hurricane Sandy, she worked on the Hurricane Sandy Relief Fund with First Lady Mary Pat Christie. She was the operations coordinator. She was also on Governor Christie's re-election campaign. She was volunteer director for the state, responsible for staffing 23 offices. Last stop before Arkansas. She worked on the Florida 2013 special election, the David Jolly for Congress race. And she now, since moving to Arkansas, has a new hobby of hiking. Please welcome Katie.
Yeah, the hiking's great. I did Lake Fayetteville the other weekend. I didn't know it was 6 miles before I went, but my feet realized that afterwards. So thank you for having me. Like she said, I am from New Jersey, and I've been working very hard to get rid of my accent. So I hope that my voice doesn't offend you too much today. But anyway, so I work for Arkansas Victory, which is the official grassroots organization of the RPA. We are also work in conjunction with the National Party. So, all these states, they move me around and we kind of work on the same program. What we're working now, which is on your table, is Victory 365. And this program was created through years of data analysis, volunteer recruitment, and just knocking on doors in general. We realized, after losing 2 presidential elections, that something needed to change. Jonelle was talking about Reince. This is one of his main initiatives that, just investing in the ground game. So right now we have 6 other staffers like myself on the ground here in Arkansas. Our team is going to be growing very soon, but there are hundreds of us across the country working in every state to, motivate the ground game. In Florida 13 was the first time that we tested out this Victory 365. So I was one of 3 staffers that had the chance to, implement and organize this program. This program delivered a big win for us despite, unthinkable odds. We were outstaffed. They had 50 staffers. We had 3. We were outspent, outmanned as far as volunteer work was concerned. But through the better collection of data, which our volunteers got by going door to door and crunching the numbers, we were able to predict that election within 100 votes. And it was all in the data collection and the efforts that our volunteers put in. Being able to send the right message to the right voter is what we're working on. So you were talking about, the message. Well, not every swing voter or undecided voter is going to want to hear the same thing. We need to play on, what issues are important to them. So we're out there talking to voters about different issues, finding out what pulls on their heartstrings, and tying that back to the party and to our candidates more specifically. Jonelle said, we do need a majority in both houses to make anything happen. We don't have a leader right now. We have, a socialist king, and he's not going to do anything that our party wants, anything right for America. So if we can elect Tom Cotton to the Senate, having a majority in both houses is going to be huge for us. So that's what we're working for. We are out there campaigning for Tom Cotton. We're out there campaigning for Asa. It's important for the people of Arkansas to know that this is the most powerful person in your state. He's making all the decisions that are directly correlated to you. So all those people that only vote in presidential elections, they are missing out on all these important decisions that are directly affecting them. And that's what we're trying to bring together here. So what we ask is, we have an office in Springdale. We're opening one in Benton County, courtesy of the committee, the county committee. So we'll be staffing that office. We're open 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, so you can't really miss us. We try to rest on Sundays, but that doesn't always happen either. We have a phone bank there. All of our phones are auto dialers, so you don't have to dial or leave a voicemail. The phone will do that for you if phone banking is your thing. We find that's a little bit less effective. Most folks, they see the caller ID and they don't want to talk to us, but that's okay. That's why we go door to door. We're talking to about 30% of the people that we knock on their doors. And people are a lot less brave when you go talk to them face to face. So we are getting good information from these folks. We know that they identify as independents, but they will vote Republican. We know that they know Mark Pryor, they're probably going to vote for him, but they're against Obamacare. So that message that we send that person is going to be, Mark Pryor was the deciding vote on that election, and we can say that. We go out there and we hold these candidates accountable to their voting records. And we have the luxury of We're not a nonprofit, so we can say our candidates' names over and over again. We can talk about all the good things they've done, all the bad things they've done, and hold their feet to the fire, just like we're talking about. So that's what we're working on. We have a mobile walk app, which you can get on your iPad, Android, or iPhone, which will help you go door to door. It's a Google map right there on your phone if you have high technology like that. If not, we also have like a Scantron. You take those standardized tests in school with fill out the bubbles. We have the same thing, so our data collection is accurate for folks who even don't have smart technology in their pockets. So we try to make it work for everybody. Good thing about us, because we're working all the time, is we can be there for you. So we've got a large team of interns and other volunteers who are trained up on all this stuff. So, if you're interested in volunteering, we can meet you in your house, walk around your neighborhood, and get you acclimated to, the messages that we're delivering that day, and the different types of people we're talking to. So it's that you get that great one-on-one, training for as long as you need. And then most folks, I've got people that go out after work. They do about 5 houses every day, and that's 25 more people that are going to vote this year. And we know that 3rd District underperformed. I should also mention I have 9 counties, so most of them are in the 3rd District. I have Washington, Benton, and all the way over to Baxter, those top counties there. And we can't let that happen. We know in off-year elections, the 3rd District underperforms by about 11% compared to the other districts. And this primary was an ominous foreshadowing of what we're going to be looking at if we don't hit the ground running. There are a lot of people that are stuck on this. We only vote in presidential mindsets, which we got an election every year in New Jersey, but y'all have one every other year, so it can't be that hard to get out there and vote in these off years. So we're really trying to get to those folks and make sure they know that this is the important one. If you want to see a change, if you're frustrated, this is our chance to get back the majority. This is our chance to get a Republican in the governor's mansion. And to top it off, Benton County has 4 competitive races this year. We talked about Rebecca Petty. Brimsley Graham is a fierce opponent. He's already been going door to door. He's got his high school students, past students, been working for him already. He's raised upwards of $20,000. And it's going to be an uphill battle for her, but that is not a seat that we want to lose. Jim Dotson has an opponent, Leah Williams. She's not as fierce, but she's still going to need your help. And these people are going to need a conservative governor to help pass any legislation that they might want. And so it's important that, we get out there and help these folks win these elections for us, because they're the ones that are deciding what's happening here in Arkansas, what's going to happen with Common Core, what's going to happen with the private option, and these are all issues that are going to affect you directly. So that's what we're working on. Any questions?
Did Doyle say last night that the Democrats were bringing in 90 people a week?
Yeah, so the Democrats, this is going to, if you haven't noticed already by the TV ads and the mailers, this is going to be like a presidential year. There is a lot of money being poured into this state through advertising, through mail pieces, and through staff. There's a lot of outside groups working. They have the DNC, the DCCC, the Democratic Senatorial Committee. All of these groups are Emily's List, bringing in volunteers, bringing in money, and deploying them in your neighborhood. So we're going to be on offense before we're on defense with that, hopefully.
Mm-hmm. So when you're talking to what issues are important to specific voters,
yeah.
Where is that information? Where is the scorecard, like the Democrat that's running in Rogers? Yeah. Where are the facts on what he stands for that you can engage? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, my friends, and what frustrates me more is the faith community staying at home and not getting involved. Right. And the primary reason that they give me, and where I was as well, is you're not seeing much of a difference between a Republican and a Democrat. Right. Because right now, when we are the majority and Common Core has gone as far as it has, and the private option, and there's all these things that Republicans have control over in the state, but we're not looking very different. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get involved. My citizenship is ultimately in heaven. Right. I know it's been a great blessing and gift to this nation that God has given us the voice to elect our leaders. And if the evangelical community or the faith believers were engaged and felt like it made a difference, we wouldn't be where we are.
Right.
So for my circle of friends and influence is going to be the people that claim to be believers, to get them motivated and get involved. But then when you see some of the votes that so-called conservatives and Republicans vote for, and the excuse is, well, we can't do anything till we get the Senate. You know, I mean, it just, you have to stand on, even if it fails, and the Farm Bill's a good one, because 75% of any of that money goes to 4 big corporations. It doesn't go to the little farmer. And so when we cast that vote that says, well, we're trying to help it, you're really, you're promoting the other message. So I'd like to see that scorecard that makes it easy to say, you could vote for Rebecca or you could vote for this, and this is what he said.
And we, when we send our walkers out, we send them armed with that information. So there are different lists of people that we talk to depending on the message. So if they're going to speak about, the Farm Bill, let's say Rebecca Petty had something to do with that. We would say, here's Rebecca's, here's where she stands now. She hasn't cast any votes, but this is what she believes. And here's where Grimsley Graham stands, and the same thing. And we're gonna compare them line by line. And if there's another, say we're talking to that person about the Farm Bill, but they bring up, the right to life, and they say, well, that issue is more important to me than the corn, then we'll have talking points on that as well. And that's just something that we arm our folks with when they come in to volunteer. We've got people walking into the office off the street all day asking questions like that, and so we do our best to answer their questions specifically. But all the information that we collect goes into one database, which the National Committee pays for us, for the state. And they've been collecting data on voters for dozens of years. Probably more information than anybody would like to admit or, know that the party knows about you. So, but it all goes in there, and it helps us target, different voters. So we are working smart, more than just hard.
And that's not public. You can't put those kind of facts anywhere, not on the voter, but on the message that would be easily.
That would be on we would rely on the candidates to do that. We don't have like a web page or anything as, the Victory program. We just have the message, and we deliver it by knocking on doors and making phone calls. It's not like we don't have a website or anything.
Do you have different copies of that message that one could look
for
at
each one?
online? For
Not online.
Why
not?
I don't have the problem. We don't have access
most people don't go to the victories.
Educated
right.
wide
Well, we're
groups of
hoping
people.
that because we are so candidate oriented, if you want to look up what your representative stands for, they have their campaign website, and we direct everybody there, unless they're, going to be, specifically working with us, then we can hand them the paper.
Okay, is the Victory campaign doing anything to help local candidates, your state house and Senate candidates, respond to the attacks they're going to receive from the Democrats? What I've seen in numerous elections around this country is the big money goes to the targeted races, and then we complain about not having the ability to bring in Republican majorities.
Right.
But small state campaigns do not have the resources to immediately respond to attack mailers and attack ads.
Absolutely.
So what are we going to do to support these candidates?
So basically all of our power is through voter contact. So if, example, we have Jeff Williams, who's running for county judge in Washington County, Jim Dotson, Rebecca Petty, Grant Hodges, all of these local candidates have signed up to work with the program. So should there be a mail piece that came out or a dirty advertisement, we can bring those folks into the phone bank and deliver a message back. So we'll call all the folks, in that cable range and say, we know you saw this commercial, but we wanted to call and remind you again what Representative Dotson stands for and why this is false. So we will respond with them as per request. We don't, try to overstep on the candidates' things, because some of them do have the do want to respond, we leave that up to their consultants. But if they want help with the grassroots and the one-on-one response to individual voters, that is what we give them free of charge.
So is the Victory Campaign providing resources, or maybe the National Party, to help them send out their mailers or help them with these
That all
responses?
comes from the state party. All the filing fees that the candidates paid that go to the state party, and the state party allocates those filing fees for mailers and TV commercials and radio ads as the candidates need. That's separate from the Victory program. Yeah, the Victory is just the grassroots voter contact. We do reinforce with different messages, like I said, but our work is not financial. We give the power to the people. That's what we have. Jonelle.
That's one of the reasons, Cindy, why in our state anyway, it's important that we support the RPA, because when it gets to the time that they decide, they will then disperse funds to particular candidates that they think are really close to winning and need a boost financially. Do they spread it out to every single candidate? They've not in the past, so I doubt that would happen this year. But those funds actually come from the RPA, where she's strictly grassroots, telephone, knocking on doors, passing out literature. Her job is completely different from what the RPA does financially.
They try not to let people from New Jersey control their money or their bridges.
We use the Victory Campaign in Colorado too, quite extensively. Do you make available auto dialers to your local candidates to use for targeted meetings or for responses? Or can they call you and say they need to get a message out, like
a robocall or we don't, not robocalls. We do the volunteer would have to be sitting at the phone making the
but
call.
you would make calls for that specific
absolutely.
candidate.
We love our candidates. Yes.
What questions are you asking specifically? If I was a voter and you come to my door, what questions are you asking?
If you didn't work for AFP, I would tell you that. You can come volunteer though. Yeah.
Some of us don't work with you. What questions?
We are asking about the candidates. So we are saying, will you support Tom Cotton? We are asking for your vote for Tom Cotton, which is something that we can do. Are you, ASA? Are you supporting Jim Dotson? If we're calling into that region. So we ask specifically about the candidates, and then, targeted issues depending on the list that we're calling or the knocking.
Just because you brought up Tom Cotton's name and I haven't been able to ever see him, obviously he's better than prior, but these are some of my concerns, and you can address them since you do, talk to Ken, and I will be a voter. Has he ever lived here since he went to the military?
From Yellow County.
Does he farm? Grew up. I knew he grew up here, but as an adult, how long did he live here?
Sure.
He's lived here all
His whole life, yeah.
What's his legal career? I mean, after he left home, has he ever come back as an adult? Because my concern is that, and that's my question. So I haven't seen this on his website. There's an ad that's out that said, this house has been in my family for 30 years. Doesn't say I lived in the house. It feels very like I want to be elected because I'm from Arkansas, but as an adult, I've never lived here. Okay, so this is a good example of messaging.
Okay.
Because, again, I am a conservative, but I think he's better than prior. I have concerns about voting for action in Syria. I have concerns that he didn't come with Alan West when Alan West came. I mean, there's just, you marry an attorney from Virginia. If they lose, will they settle here and raise a family? I mean, there's all these questions where you're like, is this somebody that just moved back to want to be elected?
No, I mean, Tom Cotton is a first-term representative, and so
tell me his timeline. I mean, that's great, and I know he's young, so he went to the military, he served, he became a lawyer,
and
then
stopped pursuing his law degree.
Right.
Then went to the military, then went back and finished his law degree.
Okay, where was that? It wasn't here.
Not in Arkansas.
No, it was DC, I thought. Was it?
I don't remember what school it was. But then he moved back here, I believe.
I tell you, from what I know of Tom Cotton, it wouldn't be a pick up and calling.
I've tried, I got one of his, and I don't want it just to be about Cotton. This is just an example of people like me who have been burned in election campaigns and don't want to get involved. I mean, it's just like, somebody's pursuing their own, and so it's not about the person or the name so much as it is the messaging.
Sure.
The feeling from my circle of friends who's on the fence about putting all my time and energy into the faith, you know, sharing the truth saving, and spending time and energy into politics.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put all of that into politics just for that's not where my faith lies. So.
And we can absolutely, any questions that you might have, I'd be happy to, speak with you one-on-one and kind of, help with those
And that's
concerns.
what I don't think you have time to do, is to talk to everyone.
Well, we do. I mean, I work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. So, that's what they pay me to do. We talk about resources. That's what I'm here for. So I do have time to talk to everybody one-on-one.
And I'm just talking on a macro level. If we want a bigger turnout.
Right away. What? She answers email right away.
Well, yeah, and I guess I'm just trying to offer a perspective from somebody that's new. I think we could reach more people.
Absolutely.
And if it was not required to do one. Well, right, that's my point.
Right. You disperse that.
Yeah.
You can listen, see him and talk to him at our state convention. He's going to be our speaker.
Well, that's what I was going to the Allen West one.
Oh, yeah. And I also wanted to invite everybody. We are going to have ASA at the office in Springdale next Tuesday evening at 6 o'clock. Would you send it around for me?
Yes.
Email? Sure. So Carrie will send around the details for that, but everybody's welcome.
Excellent. We have time for one more question, Jody.
I was just going to make an announcement. On the 27th in Eureka Springs, Steve Womack and Tom Cotton will be there. Tom is the keynote speaker. It's going to be at the end of the Ozarks on the 27th at
June 6:30.
6:30.
And if you go to one of those, you'll have an opportunity to visit with him one-on-one.
Alrighty, and Stephanie.
I just want to make one comment, because I hear you saying, Lisa, go talk to these people. I totally get that. What she's trying to tell you is there's a whole group of people that are not going to do that.
Right.
And so I hope Jonelle and
I hear that.
hearing that and take it back, because not every, I'm
that's why I was
trying to
taking notes. I
because
absolutely hear that.
she's been burned a little bit, so to get these new people in, we've got to do that. So,
and that's, we are making inroads with, minority communities. We actually have a faith-based staffer coming in to do specific work like that. But, I've been involved in, different churches throughout the community, trying to talk to the pastors about, maybe preaching a little bit from the pulpit.
Do we have a PR? Does the Republican Party have a public relations person?
We do. I can get you her information. Her name's Holly.
Well, yeah, and you can either give it to me or just give me to a website, because that's how I
sure.
I mean, that's what I guess that's what I'm seeking out, is who's the PR person that we're just getting this information easily from?
Sure.
And it needs to be on the website. The talking points need to be.
Well, I was going to say,
They've got to be
part
electronic.
of my job as National Committeewoman is to represent you there and to represent him back here. So I hear what you're saying, and I think I will talk to Doyle first thing today when I leave here and on to national if necessary. But to see about just getting some sort of handout for people we can get into our community, into our committees, into our Republican women's groups that just talks about each of these issues and where we stand as Republicans and how to present it. Something that I wouldn't mind having. So I will do that. I will certainly do that. But
Excellent.
and if there's anything else, please, I've got cards.
The Benton County Committee has a one-pager, both sides, where it describes the essentials of the platform. Unfortunately, it doesn't have too much distribution.
The Benton County?
we are launching a new Benton County website, though. So right now,
I think they said they were going to put the platform on there
last night, but it didn't happen.
It takes time. It takes time. Well, Katie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you both, Katie and Jonelle, too, for making the trek up here and spending time with us and answering questions. They'll be here after the meeting. if you'd like to ask any more questions. I would like to remind you, if you didn't pay your gratuity, and look at your ticket, if you didn't pay your gratuity when you paid for your meal, that's kind of optional. Some of us get asked. It used to be automatic. It's not necessarily automatic. You didn't ask and they didn't put it on there. Please remember our server who took such great care of us today. And you get a chance to thank the people at Golden Corral for offering us this very awesome room for us to meet in every month, as well as so many other organizations in our community. Please do that. We have somebody that we didn't recognize. He did not introduce himself. Did you not think I let men introduce themselves or something?
I'm Wesley Vanderhoff, and I just live in Benton County. So, and I work for RNC.
Which is Americans for Prosperity. All righty. I don't know whether you guys saw this. I hope we see a whole lot of this within the Republican Party in November. This is the picture of Nancy Rutledge, who is a member of our club. And Nancy is her mom, and she's a member of her and Leslie at her runoff election party. So I want to see so many of these. I'm going to hang on to this for her. I'm sure like all her friends gave her this, but she's a member of our club and she'll be very busy. So if you happen to see her out over the next few months, tell her we thought about her and talked about her and showed her page. So thank you all for being here today. Let's get out there and make a difference with our parties. Oh, and
Benton County Tea Party tonight at 7 over at the county services.
Benton County Tea Party. Any other club news? We had our county meeting last night, so there will not be a meeting next week, right?
Right.
Okay, other,
I'm happy to announce that my boss is back in DC working and doing well.
yay. Very good. And hopefully the First Lady can be sure he relaxes some and takes
Yes, she's following doctor's orders.
baby steps back. So that's good news about Congressman Bozeman. All right, y'all, see you next month.
That's it.